What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. And guys, even though you do me wrong, even though some of you come into the comment section and you say such hurtful, mean things to me personally, I just want everyone out there to know that nothing's gonna change my love for you. You ought to know by now how much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than you to hit that like, to share, to subscribe. Make sure you remain subscribed. And of course, if you like to, you can contribute to the channel through the Super Thanks feature on each and every one of my videos down below, down in my nether regions. I really do appreciate it when you touch me right there. Ooh, it feels so good. I'm just glad you're here. All right, guys. Now, listen, I want to share with you a brief interaction that I had with one of you, the commenters. You guys know I'm in the comment section, maybe a little bit too much, but I see what a lot of you are writing. And you know what? I really do appreciate that interaction. And I am so thankful for all of you who support what I'm doing, who understand what I'm doing, who agree with what I'm doing, even if you disagree. I appreciate that too. But I am very, very thankful for those who take the time to actually listen to my words and understand what I'm saying. These days, you got so many people who just drop down in there and they just go with 100% passion based just on the title of the video without even watching. Guys, you have no idea how much it tickles me. I just keep on doing it because it's just funny to me. You know, I'll do a title a certain way and then watch people get mad at me. That's not even the point that I was making, but I just love it because it puts you on blast that you don't even listen to the video. I love it. But I want to share this with you guys. So let's check this out. I'm actually going to touch the screen. I'm touching the screen right now because the mouse isn't really doing what I want it to do. Okay. So this is one of my last videos, and it was entitled Superman's Mr. Terrific is a Negative Stereotype. Now, I'm talking about people who are saying this. I'm not the one who's saying it. It's in quotes for a reason, but people are coming here in here mad at me because they think this is what I'm saying. Like I said, it tickles me, so it's all good. Whatever. You can continue to feel how you want to feel about it. But as you can see, I've got a lot of comments here, and I love it. I love the feedback, man. I really do. But I want to highlight this one comment here by someone called the Hacker. Okay. This is the Hacker, and he's quite the hack. Okay. But let me see if we can bring this up. Okay. Here it is. The Hacker. Let's get into this, guys. You guys tell me how you feel about this in the comment section. In the video, keep in mind, I'm talking about Mr. Terrific and how there are some people out there that I saw in my comment section. You know, some of you are like, I don't see anybody saying this, man. I don't know where you got this. Bro, it's in my comment section, man. That's what I'm reading from, okay? Just like I'm reading this. So just cut that out. Oh, you must be making that up. Well, okay. Anyway, the Hacker says, okay, just brief synopsis. I'm talking about how they're saying this about Mr. Terrific. And I said it's ironic that you're calling Mr. Terrific a negative stereotype, but at the same time, you're rallying around Riri Williams, Ironheart, who has been known to lie, to cheat, to steal, to murder, and ultimately make a deal with the devil. I'll say possibly because I got people running around saying it wasn't confirmed, even though the showrunner said it, even though the star said it, the director said it, but it's okay, whatever. So, yeah, so I'm pointing that out. And this person seems to be having a hard time with that because they go on to say, this is such a weak minded video. No, not every Black character needs to portray the same as Mr. Terrific in order to be positive representation. I didn't say that, bro. I'm just using an example. He says, this is boomer logic on how representation ought to be. Okay, first of all, I'm not a boomer. You know who is a boomer? My parents are boomers. If I were a boomer, I'd actually be proud to be a boomer. My parents are boomers, and I find both of them to be very logical people. When I seek advice from them, I get logical guidance. So saying that it's boomer logic is not really a own, bro. You need to respect your elders. I'm not a boomer, but like I said, I could be if I were, I'd be proud to be. Okay. So it says Claiming that Riri Williams is a claiming that Riri Williams is negative representation because she steals is beyond ignorant. Claiming Riri Williams is negative representation because she steals is beyond ignorant. Ooh, let's marinate in that for a minute. So she steals, but she's not negative representation. Interesting. Okay. So claiming that Riri Williams is negative representation because she steals is beyond ignorant because A, white people or white characters are clearly not held to the same standards, and B, it ignores any nuance to the character. And let's be honest, the reason Mr. Terrific gets a pass is because he's a side character at this point. If he gets his own movie or show, the tone will shift. Now, you see what I'm talking about, guys? This dude clearly does not know how to exist outside of the white experience, the white on black experience. They try to justify Riri Williams being a thief, or they're pushing back against her being considered negative because she steals, just because white people do it too. All right. And it ignores, or what is it? Yeah, it ignores any nuance to the character. So there's a reason why she's stealing, as if anybody cares that there's a reason why she's stealing. When you get picked up for stealing in real life, does anybody ask you, so why did you do this? You know, I want to know because I care about that. No, you committed a crime, bro. You got to at least go to court. You got to be held accountable, in other words. And once again, this betrays a lack of accountability, a sense of accountability. So anyway, I reply to the hack. Fascinating. You know, my Mr. Spock thing. Fascinating. So, if you don't mind, answer this simple question. If you had to choose one to represent you or your family, which would you choose? A thief, a liar, and a murderer who made a deal with the devil, or a morally sound person who is highly educated, who has saved lives, and is a productive member of society, and why? I only ask that you be honest and try not to use any variation of white people to justify your answer. Thanks for your comment. Okay, it's a very simple question. And the reason why I'm asking this person to not use any variation of white people is because I really want to challenge them to see their humanity. Like, this is so important, guys. I swear it's a disease in the black community. It really is. Way too many of us have it, where we cannot relate to ourselves as individuals without gesturing towards white people over there. Once again, my they them theory, right? Represent yourself as a human being in your answer, is what I'm saying. The person comes back. You're asking, would I prefer a black female character who's the main character of her own story, or a black side supporting character? Sorry, but morally complex characters like Riri is not negative representation. If you think it is, then you're too disingenuous and simple minded to talk to. Also, why can't I compare like to like when it comes to comparing white and black characters? Because it undermines your argument. Okay, so we have a fail. I asked this person not to reference white people, and what did they do? Why can't I compare like to like when it comes to comparing white characters? I have to do it. Okay. All right. So first off, they're saying, you're asking, which would I prefer? A black female character who's the main character of her own story, or a black supporting character? First of all, guys, timestamp this and answer my question. Was that the question that I was asking the hack? Did I not ask? I asked a completely different question. You know what I mean? I said, if you had to choose one to represent you and your family, would you choose a thief, liar, or murderer, someone who made a deal with the devil, or a morally sound person who's highly educated, who has saved lives, and is a productive member of society? And they took that question and they interpreted it as, you're asking, which would I prefer, a black female character who's the main character of her own story, or a black supporting character or side supporting character? All right. So they're deflecting, as I knew they would. That's a problem enough. All right. They completely failed on the mission, on the assignment. But that aside, a black female character who's the main character of her own story. Okay, guys, let me remind you of something. The Hack, check this out. Riri Williams, was she not a side character in someone else's story first? And then she went on to star in her own story that nobody was asking for. Nobody was asking for. Wake up, bro. Okay, you can't deny. Nobody was talking about Riri Williams until the evening before the show dropped. And that's the point that I was talking about when they decided to market it to simpletons like you, who picked it up and said, yes, this is a great moment in Black history, when you know damn well you weren't talking about that before. And even if you were, most people were not, because you didn't see it anywhere on the internet. So she was a side character in someone else's story. The same thing that she was a supporting character, the same thing that you're using to put down Mr. Terrific. And then she went to star in a show that nobody was asking for. Okay, flip it over. Mr. Terrific is a supporting character. You're right about that. In Superman 25, somebody else's story. And he is going to go on to star in his own show or movie that everybody is asking for. Okay, you see the difference? Side supporting character, nobody's asking for the show that they got. That's the reason why it sat on the shelf for over 3 years. That's the reason why it was low viewership. That's the reason why it's not getting a season 2. In comparison, you have a breakout star from a movie that everyone is asking for. And that's the point that you can't handle. Just because you see white people love Mr. Terrific, well, you feel like black people, you know what? We should probably hate it, because that's the way you are. You can't be black without consciously making yourself the opposite of white. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you this, but it's an affliction that too many of us are stricken with. And we really need to push back against that. You need to see your humanity. You are so twisted up in the game that you would actually prefer to have a character that is a liar, a thief, a criminal, a murderer who makes a deal with the devil, than to have someone who holds 14 PhDs, is a martial artist, is morally sound, who saves lives. This is where your logic is. Just because you want to spite white people. So after all that, I go on to say, well said. I'm trying to be respectful here. Well said. But do you plan on answering the actual question today? This person goes on to say, I did. That's all I need to know. That's all I need. I knew then I was going to make a video about this. I'm like, okay, thanks for your comment. And we just left it alone. All right, now somebody else, Aspect, came in. Aspect, let me cook, bro. I really do appreciate it, but you're helping me too. Aspect comes in and says, morally complex. She literally made a deal with the freaking devil and allowed someone to die. And because of her action, got Obadiah Stane's son in jail. Plus, she never learned anything at all towards the end of the show of Ironheart. Riri was incredibly selfish in that show. And black people are saying this, okay, also. So it's not a matter of black or white, but of course, black people, too many of us, just see white people. And we're going to focus on that. That's all we care about. At least Mr. Terrific, he did things such as helping Lois Lane. He didn't have to do that, and was basically the more competent character in the movie. That is true. Hacker comes back. The Hack says, Aspect, you clearly don't know what moral complexity even means. And no, she didn't allow someone to die. Again, Mr. Terrific is a side character, so obviously he gets a pass from people like you. And by people like you, obviously the Hack is talking about white people, which once again goes to show what I'm talking about. They justify their whole argument by being the opposite of white. Just because people like you like her, I'm justified in not liking her, and I'm not liking her, and you can't make me. So there, I told him. In all fairness, the Aspect goes on to say, well, I do, exactly. A part of moral complexity is when the character does unethical decisions and they are accountable for them. In the show, she made a lot of unethical decisions, but has received no accountability for them and often gets away with most of the decisions she had made. So, no, she doesn't show moral complexity in it entirely. She may have made a lot of unethical decisions in situations, but mostly she never really pays for it. And in regards to your second point, yes, she did allow someone to die. Didn't you watch the show? It was in episode 3 by letting John die, by letting him consume the CO2 in the greenhouse. And Riri deliberately made a choice to leave him there. Again, what show were you watching? Okay. Of course, the hack didn't have an answer for that. I'm sure they'll probably show up somewhere because he just can't let it go. But see, this is the point that I'm talking about, guys. And this is what concerns me about too many Black people, this lack of a sense of accountability. I always used to say so-called white supremacy ends where Black accountability begins. You know, white supremacy ends where Black accountability begins. I've always said that you have to have accountability and responsibility for yourself. You have no idea how liberating and empowering that is. The best thing I ever did in my life was to decide that I am human, human first. I am proud to be Black. I love my complexion. I love the history of the people in this country and everything. But I must be human. All right. Human rights means more to me than anybody's twisted idea of so-called civil rights. Human rights is at the heart of civil rights. There's no such thing as Black rights or white rights. You have to have human rights or no one is going to give a fuck anyway. You know what I mean? So this is where it all starts. This is what I'm talking about. But all too often, too many Black people out there don't have this. They have no sense of accountability. And this is by design. You are a product of the American Society of Magical Liberals. They have you thinking you can do anything, you can say anything, and nobody should hold you accountable. You want to go out and rip up the town and throw, and trash everything? Go on and do that. You want to break the law? Go on and do that. You want to abort your children? Go on and do that. Just go ahead now. You know what I mean? If you want to just go riot, just go ahead now. And if you want to rob your neighbor, just go ahead now. You know what I mean? That's how they have you thinking. And it's dangerous, guys. But anyway, Riri Williams versus Mr. Terrific seems to me to be a no brainer. So one of my other commenters said, Mark, put up a poll. And I said, right here in front of everybody? No, they said, Mark, go on and put up a poll. Riri Williams versus Mr. Terrific. Okay, so I went on to X and I pitched a tent. I put up a poll and I said, I've seen Ironheart get called a stereotype, and now I see Mr. Terrific also being called a stereotype. Now, this is distressing, but I simply must know if you had to choose who's the bigger stereotype. Now, this was yesterday, all right? And as of now, we see Ironheart has 78.4%. Mr. Terrific has way below that, 5.9%. And look at that. Who put that in there? Mark with a C? Me? I have 15.7%. I also am a stereotype? Really? Who would say that about me? Come on, bro. Like, seriously, I am no stereotype, man. Yes, I might have a big schlong. Yes, I might love watermelon and fried chicken, but damn it, come on, man. Anyway, as you can see, Ironheart overwhelmingly beat Mr. Terrific. And this is everybody, guys. Contrary to popular belief, I have a ton of Black followers. Okay. So don't even try to cope by saying, well, those are your people. Those are your white people. We can't all be coons either. All right. Because I hear people already, they're coons just like you. Isn't that convenient? Anyone who disagrees with you, you are the authority on Blackness, apparently. Well, you're not the authority. Well, I just got through saying humanity is what's more important to me. Until we recognize our humanity, we're going to stay losing. People are going to stay laughing at us because we just don't get it. So, guys, there you have it. I want to give a great big shout out to the hack, all right, for helping me with this experiment. I want to give a great big shout out to everybody out there who's sounding off in my comment section. I really do appreciate the give and take, guys. But the point is here that you have a character that a lot of people are calling a stereotype based solely on a couple of lines that he said. I think it was, you brought that dog here, man. And the way he pronounces his words and stuff like that kind of sounds like Robert Downey Jr., apparently from Tropic Thunder. But guys, come on, man. Just stop. It's like you're talking about a guy who, like I said before, is super, super educated. He's the smartest guy, the third smartest guy, apparently, in the DC universe. He saves lives versus a character who steals, robs, lies, makes a deal with the devil, allow somebody to die. I mean, come on, bro. Let's just stop. But as long as we keep doing this, well, white people, well, white people, well, white people, it's just gonna be a joke. But anyway, guys, you can get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about all of this. Let me know. I mean, honestly, if you agree with the hack, feel free to say so. But guys, stop trying to insult me. Stop coming in here personally trying to target me. I don't listen, man. I'm invincible, okay? I don't care. None of that stuff matters. I'll just use you as the topic of my next video. All right? Either build on the conversation in an adult, responsible, grown-up way, or I don't know, let's dance. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for everyone who I referenced in the video. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Like I said, super thanks on the bottom of the screen. I will catch you on the next one. This is the gospel according to Mark with a C. Rock on.